lifting the glitter ball in 2020, Bill Bailey's decided it's time to hang up those dancing shoes a little bit and head back to his roots.
Well, Bill is about to embark on a brand new tour, and he's here now to tell us all about it, which is very exciting. So, en route to normal.
Yes.
What is normal, Bill? What is normal?
Exactly, that's a good question.
In your world?
I mean, well, in my world, it's not that normal. No, it really isn't. So that's probably a very bad example. But I just, yeah, I mean, I guess it's about, you know, we've been through such a sort of very strange couple of years. And the show actually started before the pandemic. It was all about the kind of, really about, you know, how, as an adult, the world is not quite what I imagined it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know,
not what it all cracked up.
No, exactly. Yeah. And I think that, and I was writing the show. Yeah, everything's gone a bit strange and topsy turvy. And then there was a once in a century global pandemic. So I was like, oh, hang on, did I precipitate this somehow? Is it my fault? Sorry, everyone. You know.
So did that lockdown kind of help you with your creativity? Obviously, you had nothing else to do.
No,
so
but that's right.
You could pump it all into the show.
There was a lot of time. Yeah, a lot of artists, actually. A lot of musicians as well. Spent a lot of time at home, you know, normally be out touring. So there's a bit of extra time to focus. And it was, I mean, strangely enough, it was quite a productive period. You know, I just got spent time at home and got writing and, you know, spent time in the studio just tinkering around with instruments. And so it was actually, you know, you had to make the best use of the time.
Yeah.
You know.
During the pandemic, when you play a lot of instruments anyway.
Yeah.
Was there one instrument during the pandemic you thought, I really want to try and nail that during the time?
Well, there was I mean, there was a few. There's a few instruments I've got. Like, I love sort of quite, you know, eclectic kind of stringed instruments like lutes and old English instruments, old, you know, like lutes and sitterns. And I've got a mandola, which is like a larger version of a mandolin.
Have you?
And I practiced that a lot. And I've tried practicing the bagpipes as well.
Any good?
No. We've got a lot of complaints from the neighbours.
Did you?
Is it like languages? So if you can play a string instrument, if you get like a mandola or you get a banjo, or you get like a sitar, like can you? Is it the same sort of like the same family?
Yeah,
the same
I mean,
beat,
there's the same technique, but they're often tuned differently. So you have to learn a whole new set of tuning.
Yeah.
So that's the tricky part, you know.
What's the toughest, do you think?
I think the sittern as well, because it's got 10 strings. And it's tuned in a completely different way, and so it's sort of. And then I've got an oud as well, which is like a Persian instrument, which is a beautiful thing. It's like a lute, but it's 10 strings, and you can tune it in any way you want. So when I took it on tour, my guitar tech was like, he'd look at me like, oh, not this again.
Your guitar tech must be like the hardest job. Like, I'd probably rather go onto a Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, oh,
what is
what
this?
Have,
have you got something with 3 strings?
So
what about the bagpipes?
Sorry. Go on.
Oh, no, the bagpipes is quite tricky because there's 2 sections to it. There's the chanter, which is the kind of the little whistling bit, you know, there's that bit, and then there's the bag, which is that's the physical thing. We have to keep the bag inflated, so you have to blow the air into it. So there's quite a lot going on. It's quite a difficult thing to take on. So I might have to have some lessons. Yeah.
We can find someone for you. Would we follow that story? That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right.
We definitely would. We'd love it.
Bill's bagpipe journey.
Who got you into music, though? Because I know you was playing piano from the age of 7.
Yeah.
Who was it that inspired you?
I think it's my mum, really. My mum was she loved singing, you know, and she'd always sing songs in the house. And, there she is there. And she'd had the radio on the whole time. And so she would always, like, sing songs off the radio and encourage me to play the piano. We had a piano, like an upright piano in the front room, and she would always be there encouraging me to play tunes. Yeah.
So when you write the stand-up show, like for each show, do you have an idea that you're going to do, I don't know, 50% music, 50% comedy, or do you start with? I know they morph into each other.
Yeah.
Do you have a sort of starting point with? Do you think, right, I'll do the songs first, or?
I think what happens is it happens quite organically. You think up ideas, and then you think, oh, that's a story that will fit around that. And,
so good.
And then you'll think, I'll play some classical music on the horns. Yeah.
And you were just saying before we started, you just got back from Netherlands, Germany, and Greece. So culturally, do you think they work? Do you think comedy works everywhere?
Very much so. Yes. I mean, it's hugely popular now in Europe, and people have an enormous amount of appetite for it, particularly now coming out of lockdown. People really want to get out.
We're desperate.
And yeah, exactly.
We just want to get out.
There's this huge energy that you feel from the audience, but also like people, you know, they understand. They've got a particular love. I think British comedy, English-speaking comedy. It's hugely popular, you know, all throughout Europe now.
I do wonder for comedians, though, like, with everything that happened with Chris Rock and everything, do you ever feel that pressure to kind of water things down and maybe people are a little bit more sensitive now?
I don't know. I think in that particular case, I think there was a lot of other issues going on there. I think there was a lot of baggage between the two of them, and I don't think I think they were both at fault to some degree. I mean, I don't think it was a great joke. I think it was pretty insensitive.
But that happens sometimes with comedians, doesn't it?
There's no excuse for getting up stage, and that was that was completely out of order.
The strange thing is, from someone that's like watched Chris Rock for a long time, it was like probably in many ways the least kind of controversial thing I've ever seen.
It was just a little kind of aside, really. It didn't warrant getting up and somebody slapping you around. I mean, that's just totally out of order, you know. And as a comic, I realised this is...
That crossed the line, didn't it?
Crossed the line. Of course it does. Yeah, it's terrible, yeah. So I won't be doing any jokes about it.
No, good. Glad.
Jada Pinkett, no.
Any dancing? There
will be some dancing, yes. I actually put a bit of dancing into the show last year.
Did OT choreograph it?
It was a little bit... It was a tribute to our Rapper's Delight routine. And I was actually mimicking the dance of the Bird of Paradise, and which is obviously a bit in my show. And I thought, well, I'll put this in, the audience will like that. Anyway, I'll see what happens. Anyway, I got to the end of it and they said, and I was like, anyway, I was moving on. And they went, no, again, again, you must dance again.
That's going to be the highlight of the show now.
So I'm slightly concerned it might turn into a dance show with some, you know,
that's great, bird
noises in it.
I do think you've inspired so many men to take up dancing, though. Honestly, when you won Strictly, it really was a moment, wasn't it? And I can't believe you nearly didn't do Strictly.
No, that's right. Well, I mean, I've been asked to do it a number of times over the years, and it's a big commitment. I mean, it's kind of like weeks, possibly months if you stay in. So, and I never at the time I was touring. I'm always touring in that block of time, September up to Christmas. It's always a very busy time for doing comedy tours. So I could never afford the time of it. And then, of course, you know, pandemic happens where we're doing nothing. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do it, this is the time to do it.
Well, the rest is history.
Yeah,
well, thanks so much, mate. Bill's international tour en route to normal kicks off in Dublin on the 29th of April. Tickets are available online now. Thank you, Bill.
Cheers.
Thank you, Bill.
Love it.